The afternoon sun hung low over the quiet streets of Lanford, casting long and spindly shadows across the worn wooden porch of the house. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of aged coffee and the familiar hum of a family gathered. Dan stood by the window, watching his neighbor walk away. "Thanks for letting Bev play, guys," Dan called out, though his voice held a trace of exhaustion. "I am not sure who you are talking to," came the dry response from the kitchen. "We certainly did not want her. I would have been fine at home," Bev piped up from her seat at the table, her voice sharp as a tack. "But Jackie does not trust me there anymore." Jackie walked into the room, tossing her keys onto the counter. "Mom, I went to check the mail this morning, and you had pulled up half the carpeting in my bedroom. What on earth were you thinking?" "Don't blame me," Bev replied with a dismissive wave. "Some of these older apartments have beautiful hardwood floors hidden underneath. Check for yourself. Don't blame me because yours did not. You can roll up a blanket and put your body in a carpet if you like. Just something to put in your pocket for later, dear." Darlene walked through the door just then, looking disheveled. Dan looked at his watch. "You get bad traffic again? You were getting home later and later every single night." "Yeah, I was stuck on that Dan Ryan expressway forever," Darlene sighed, dropping her bag. "I know we built that expressway to honor him, but all anybody ever says is, I was stuck on the stupid Dan Ryan." "Did the kids get dinner?" "For themselves," Dan answered. "They did not make me anything." Jackie looked at Darlene and then back at the couch. "Hey, Jackie, I think Harris lost one of her good earrings in the couch. Can you give me a hand looking for it?" "I did not even know Harris had any good earrings," Jackie said, standing up. "She does not," Darlene whispered as they moved toward the sofa. "Her ears are constantly infected. I just had to talk to somebody, or I was going to go crazy." "Oh, pretend we are looking through the couch cushions," Jackie whispered back, diving into the task. "What is wrong?" "I wasn't on the expressway," Darlene confessed. "I was at David's." "Well, why would you lie to your dad about that?" Jackie asked. "You and David see each other all the time because of the kids." "I know," Darlene said, her voice trembling. "But today we were making out. I cannot tell my dad that I was making out with my ex while I am also dating Ben." "You and David?" Jackie's eyes widened. "When did this start?" "The last couple of months. We just started talking about the relationship to see if we could make it work again. And then tonight we stopped talking because our tongues were in each other's mouths." "But I thought you and Ben were doing great," Jackie said. "We are," Darlene admitted. "But I still have feelings for David. And if there is a chance I can put my family back together, I have to try, right?" "You have to give up Ben," Jackie warned. "Why would I do that?" Darlene asked. "Ben and I are amazing together." "Oh, it is the classic wanting of the cake followed by the ever-present eating of it, too," Jackie remarked. "How are you even having time for all this?" "I don't. I am this close to losing it. When I am supposed to be with David, I am with Ben. When I am supposed to be with Ben, I am with David. When I am supposed to be with the kids, I am with Ben or David." "You are right on the verge of having sex with both of them," Jackie said bluntly. "No, no way," Darlene insisted. "I cannot go any further with David while I am still seeing Ben. I cannot sleep with two guys. I am not that person. Let me tell you," Jackie said with a wistful look, "I have been that person, and it can be a nightmare. A fantastic nightmare." Just then, Becky walked into the living room, her steps heavy. "Hey, guys," she said. "Hey, crazy back," Dan greeted her. "Hey, little mama. Wow, you are getting big. That baby moving yet?" "Not yet," Becky replied, rubbing her stomach. "But she is watching the papers for a younger uterus in a better neighborhood." "What is up?" Darlene asked. Aunt Jackie asked me to come by and go over a birth plan she made for me, Becky said, holding up a thick binder. I was expecting a page or two. I got the encyclopedia in Seneca. Aunt Jackie is looking for something to give meaning to her life, Darlene joked. You just happened to be in the station when the crazy train pulled in. Tag. You are it. I am cashing out. No way, Dan said, looking at the cards on the table. I have been losing to her all night. She wants to leave. It is a win. Did you read my birth plan? Jackie asked Becky eagerly. I tried, Becky said. It is just too much. Cannot we just go over this later? I am not due for 2 more months. But everything in here is important, Jackie insisted. Having soft lights and calming music and putting the baby on your chest, so there is a surge of oxytocin and she bonds to you. I have got a whole chapter on infant car seats. I just don't know what all the fuss is about, Bev chimed in. In my day, we wrapped the baby in a napkin and took it home in our purse. Mom, you are confusing it with stealing muffins from a restaurant, Jackie snapped. Fine. So that is where all the glasses are. Yesterday I had to drink milk out of a shot glass, Bev grumbled. Harris walked in, looking bored. Sorry, I try not to come down here. It is like a public bathroom at the mall. I just want to get in and out and not make eye contact. Harris, you should be a part of this, Darlene said. One day you might have a baby. You will want to know this stuff. Pass, Harris said. I am not having any kids. And why not? Bev asked. It is a different time, Nana, Harris replied. You do not have to have a bunch of kids to give your life meaning anymore. Good luck getting a man with that attitude, Bev muttered. Suddenly, Becky gasped, her eyes widening. Crap, I think I just peed myself. It is not stopping. Becky, I think your water broke, Jackie said, her voice rising in panic. Oh no, Becky whispered. No, 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 no. Oh really, Becky? Bev said. It is much too soon. You never disappoint. Dan, Darlene yelled. We are heading to the hospital. Becky's water broke. Damn, Dan said, grabbing his keys. I will drive. Let us go? This is not happening. Becky cried as they ushered her to the car. I have 2 more months to live. Harris, we don't have time. Darlene called over her shoulder. Clean that up, would you? This is why I don't come down, Harris complained. At the hospital, Becky was breathing heavily in a small triage room. The contractions are getting closer, she wheezed. Why aren't they taking me in? We have to stop this. Dad is getting a nurse, Darlene reassured her. As soon as he gets one, they are going to give you something to stop the contractions. And until then, we are going to do some visualization exercises to stay calm. So, baby does not want to come out. Baby is happy where it is. The baby is moving, Becky shouted. The baby is moving like crazy. That is not working. Okay, well then, we will just talk to the baby, Jackie said, leaning close. Sweetheart, hi. It is your Aunt Jackie and Mommy. And we just want you to know there is no rush. There is no money for college. And your daddy has been deported to Mexico. And there is alcohol addiction in your genetic background. You are freaking the baby out. Becky yelled. Next person, please. Dan was at the front desk, staring at a receptionist. Are you having chest pains, a sudden rash, or breathing issues? She asked without looking up. All those, but it is not for me, Dan snapped. My daughter has been sitting there for 30 minutes. Her water broke, but the baby is not due for 2 more months. Have her fill this out, the woman said, sliding a clipboard. We will get to her as fast as we can. No, Dan said, pushing the clipboard back. You take her in, and I will fill out the forms while she is in there. I want somebody to see her now. Forms first, care second, the woman replied. How about I wheel her back there, and you try and stop me? Dan threatened. An orderly stepped forward. Orderly, take the geriatric pregnancy into a room. Please, the receptionist called out. Geriatric? Becky yelled from the waiting area. You are so lucky that I cannot get up and come over there, because the baby would fall out of me. The next morning, Ben walked into Darlene's office. Hey, he said softly. You did not have to come in. You were at the hospital all night. Oh, I missed you. I missed you, too, Darlene said, giving him a quick hug. How is Becky? Ben asked. They are still waiting to see if the medication will stop the contractions completely, Darlene said. My dad and Jackie are there. But actually, I looked over some stuff in the waiting room. There is a typo in the proofs. My work does not have typos, Ben smiled. Oh, could you do me a huge favor and run down to the coffee shop and get me another cup of coffee with agave? And on the off chance that they don't have agave, is there another exotic plant that you will accept? Ben joked. Yes, I will take black tar heroin, Darlene teased. Got it, Ben laughed. As soon as he left, Darlene's phone rang. Hey, David. I am at work. What is up? Yeah, that would be really sweet. I will come by and pick you up, and we can both go to the hospital together. Okay, love you too. Ben walked back, and just as she hung up, Daddy? I have never heard you call your dad Daddy before. Yeah, I am feeling very fragile right now, Darlene lied quickly. I need my daddy. Oh, I just forgot the wall-out beer back, Ben said. Oh, you know what? I don't need another cup. I am already vibrating. All right, I gotta be honest. I am worried about you. You look exhausted. Yeah, it is that stupid Dan Ryan Expressway, Darlene said. That is the problem. Oh, we both know what the solution is, Ben said, taking her hand. You move in with me. You know those signs that say if you lived here, you would be home and having sex with Ben by now. You would be home and having sex with Ben by now. I love you, you know, but I just really cannot think about this right now, Darlene replied. Okay, tabled for another time, Ben conceded. At least let me just drive you back to the hospital and keep you company. No, you know what? That is so sweet, but it is just too many people at the hospital, Darlene said. When you are expecting a preemie, they give you a smaller room. Darlene went home to pack a bag for Becky. How is Aunt Becky? Harris asked. Pretty much the same, Darlene said. I am just going to grab some stuff for her and run back to the hospital. Okay, want me to save you some kale salad? Harris asked. Listen, Bev said, popping up from behind a chair. Let me tell you about kale. In the old days, you would go to the cafeteria, and it was the green stuff that kept the ice from touching the cottage cheese. It is all hype. You don't go from garnish to superfood. I feel so stupid. I fell for it, Harris muttered. A knock came at the door. Coming, 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 Dan shouted. He opened the door to a man looking very upset. Hi, how can I help you? I am looking for Harris Healy's mother, the man said. She is not home from work yet, but I am Harris's grandfather, Dan said. What can I do for you? Your granddaughter goes to school with my son, and she sold him a homemade pot cookie, the man revealed. Okay, I can kind of believe she sold him pot, but I do not believe she baked anything, Dan remarked. Believe it, the man said. Kyle freaked out, and I was up all night trying to reassure him that time was not standing still. Yeah, stuff does get on top of you, Dan sighed. Listen, I am really sorry. We would never want that to happen to any kid. You tell her I had to take him to urgent care, the man continued. I am out $200, and I needed to pay for my tattoo removal. So my new husband cannot handle looking at my ex's face while he is behind me. Your first husband liked looking at his own face? Dan asked. It was a red flag I ignored, okay? The man snapped. I am really sorry. I cannot help you with the money, Dan said. I don't have it. All right. Well, maybe I will just take something worth $200, the man said, looking around. I will come back when the mother is home. He walked out, and Darlene walked in a moment later. Hey, are you Harris Healy's mother? The man asked her on the porch. Because if you are, you owe me money. Nope, Darlene said, slipping inside. Well, tell her I will be back, the man yelled. I will. You have a blessed day, Darlene called out. She looked at Dan. What the hell was that all about? You got a problem, Dan said. Your daughter is selling pot cookies at school. What? Darlene asked. How come when I get home, it is never somebody got a scholarship? Where's Harris? At the hospital, Dan said. Damn, what is wrong? They could not stop the labor, Dan said. The baby is coming now. All right, we got to get going before Bev wraps it in a napkin and puts it in her purse. Back at the hospital, Becky was screaming. Okay, just one more push, the doctor said. I cannot, Becky wheezed. You can, Jackie encouraged her. It is a preemie. It is small. One more push. Oh my God. She is here, Becky whispered. Nurse, the doctor called. Is she okay? Becky asked. Why isn't she crying? You did great, Jackie said. Just rest for a second. Why aren't they putting her on my chest? Becky asked. This is exactly what is supposed to happen, Jackie explained. They are going to take her to the neonatal intensive care unit. I want to see her, Becky cried. Just let them do their jobs, Darlene said. It is okay. Does she look normal? Becky asked. Yes, Jackie said. Then why cannot I see her? Because she is very small, Jackie said. She cannot be seen by the naked eye. This is all my fault, Becky sobbed. I am too old. I drank too much. That is why she was born too early. No, come on, Darlene said. Don't do that, Becky. You know what? I did everything right with Harris, and she was a preemie, and she turned out fine. No, she did not, Becky whispered. In the waiting room, Bev was looking around. The county emergency room always reminds me of that scene in Gone with the Wind with all the Confederate soldiers laying on the ground, dying, she said. Frankly, I did not care for the cursing at the end of that movie. Dan and Darlene walked out. Okay, baby is here, Dan said. Are Becky and the baby okay? Jackie asked. Becky is fine, Darlene said. The baby was not breathing on her own, but they put her on a ventilator, and now she is stable. Thank God, Jackie breathed. Can we go back there now? Becky is pretty upset, but she has Jackie in there with her, so it is probably going to get worse, Dan said. He looked at Harris, who was standing by the vending machine. You are not going anywhere. What? Harris asked. You are selling pot cookies at school? Are you stupid? Darlene yelled. Are we really going to do this right here? Harris asked. Yes, we are, Darlene said. Kyle's mom came by. She had to take him to urgent care. I told him half a cookie, Harris muttered. This is not about Kyle's inability to maintain, Darlene snapped. This is about you selling drugs. Oh my God, Harris sighed. They're going to be selling pot to everybody here in 3 months. Nobody cares. And it is not like I am eating it. What? Dan said. Hey, you cannot eat it, you cannot sell it, and you are underage. And by the way, who are you getting weed from? It is everywhere, Harris said. Everybody is selling it. Honestly, it is kind of amazing that I am doing so well. My hustle is putting it in cookies and adding cardamom. It is exotic and a little unexpected. You are actually bragging about this? Darlene asked. Do you realize if Kyle's mom had called the cops, you would be sitting in jail right now? You are going to give me all the money you made from this. I am taking your phone away, and you are not leaving the house for the rest of the semester. Oh, wow, Harris said. I am grounded. Like you are going to know if I am even home. You are never around. You really think it hurts me pointing out that I am not a good mother? Darlene asked. Like water off a duck's back, baby. Bev, Dan said, turning to his mother-in-law. Yes, Dan, Bev replied. It has been a long day, so please don't take this the wrong way. But why are you here? Dan asked. Everybody has got to be somewhere, Bev said. I have had a crappy day, Dan sighed. Becky was afraid to see the baby. Now she wants to, so I gotta go back to the hospital. There is pie, Bev said, opening a box. I got enough for everybody. God bless you, Dan said, taking a piece. I was wondering where you were. I am only asking because it has been just me and Bev here for hours. Hours, Bev echoed. Did you know that when Jackie was born, she caused my bladder to drop into my vagina? You had to see that now, didn't you? Jackie asked as she walked in. Well, I'm not going to let you ruin this for me. No offense, Dan, but I don't like to watch you eat. Darlene walked into the kitchen. You enjoying that pie, Dad? Smells great, huh? Yep, Dan said. Love the smell of apple pie. So you can smell apple pie, but you cannot smell the smell of pot cookies baking in your own house. Darlene asked. What? Dan asked, looking confused. How did you not know what Harris was doing? Whoa, Dan said. You are going to blame your kids selling drugs on me? Yes, I am, Darlene said. Because you are here and I am not. Whose fault is that? Dan asked. I am working, Darlene snapped. Oh, are you? Dan asked. Because you are getting home at 10 o'clock. I don't know if you are with Ben or what you are doing, but you are definitely not coming straight home from work every night. Oh, so I am not allowed to have a personal life? Darlene asked. Because I remember when I was a kid, you would go straight from work to the Lobo Lounge. You would have a beer, then you would come home and you would say, "There are my girls." DJ would start crying, and you would go to the garage to fix a bike. Hey, Dan said, standing up. I worked my ass off day and night to support this family, and I was always there when it counted. You need to get your head in the game and raise your kids. I already raised mine. Oh, did you though? Darlene asked. Because I am pretty sure it is Mom that raised us. No, Dan said softly. If we are going to be honest, the television did. Later, Becky was looking through the glass of the nursery. How is she doing? Darlene asked. Every now and then, when she is trying to move her little arms, she punches herself in the head, Becky said with a tearful smile. She is definitely a Connor, Darlene laughed. Oh, another Connor in the world. What we don't have in quality, we make up in volume. Darn right we do, Dan said, walking up. Grammy Becky is here to see her baby. Are you ready? I think so, Becky said. Oh my God. She is so tiny. Look at all the tubes. I know. It looks scary, Darlene said. But all those things in there are helping her get stronger. She is looking at me, Becky whispered. Yeah, of course she is, Jackie said. You are her mom. I am her mom, Becky repeated. Have you decided on a name yet? Jackie asked. You know, the name Jacqueline means may God protect. We could call her Jackie Jr. That would be so cute, right? Her name is Beverly Rose, Becky said firmly. I wanted a connection with the family. Jackie stared at her. Becky, I want you to know that I will always love this baby, but I consider it a personal attack and a negation of my entire childhood of pain that you have named this precious angel after the vessel of evil that is my mother. Enough said. Come on, DJ. Let these two get to know each other better. You need anything? No, we are fine. Thanks, Becky said. Darlene walked into her bedroom later that night and stopped cold. I am so sorry, a voice whispered. See, it is even better when you wait for it. I am going to go get the pizza. Darlene turned to see David sitting up in her bed. "Oh," she gasped. "What?" Jackie asked, appearing in the doorway. "Was that naked man in your bed, David?" "Shoo," Darlene whispered. "Yes. What are you doing here?" "I needed a night away from Bev," Jackie said. "Well, this is great. You finally made a decision. You broke up with Ben." "Well, that sure would have made things simpler," Darlene sighed. "Wait," Jackie's jaw dropped. "You were sleeping with both of them? I thought you were not that kind of person." "Well, apparently I am," Darlene said, burying her face in her hands. "I set a boundary, and I crossed it. I am so stupid. Why did I do that? You gotta help me, Jackie." "Well, Jackie started. If somebody took Ben off your hands, would that help?" "Stay away from him," Darlene hissed. "Okay. Good night," Jackie said, backing away. "Good night," Darlene replied. Back at the hospital, Dan and Becky were looking at the baby. "A brand new Connor," Dan said. "Let us learn from the mistakes of our past." "Oh, I agree," Becky said. "You know what? Let us raise her to expect nothing so she is never disappointed. Or we can tell her she can be whatever she wants to be," Dan suggested. "That is a mean joke to play on a baby," Becky laughed. "What if we never tell her she is a Connor, but we will raise her like Moses or Tarzan?" Dan asked. "Oh yeah, like Tarzan," Becky said. "But instead of holding onto a vine, she can hold onto a job." "Quick, let us go tell Becky before she fills out the birth certificate," Dan joked. "This is for when you come home. You know Tarzan, you Connor."